everybody. My name is Dr. Bridget Sterling, and I'm one of the instructors for the Camosun College EACS 111 course, which is running in winter 2021. And I just wanted to say welcome to everyone and thank you so much for being a part of this program and helping our students to help all kinds of students become education assistants in the near future and eventually become our colleagues. I wanted to just say you can contact me anytime. This is my email address and my phone number. You're welcome to text or call at this number. Available to you anytime. Also putting up here just the Occupational Safety and Health Coordinator at Camosun if there's any questions that you have as well, or if someone's had an injury and you're not exactly sure what to do in the role of student or mentor as far as injuries are concerned. So there you go. Let's think about the purpose of this course. The purpose of the practicum experience is to give students the opportunity to integrate classroom theory with practical hands-on experience. So the students that are with you in practicum right now, that you're mentoring, are also in other courses at this time. So they're actually taking, potentially, some of them have finished a lot of their courses, but they're potentially taking other courses and learning some theory, or they have done. And so now this is a chance to take the theory that they've learned and integrate it with what they can see you guys doing, how they can hands-on experience of helping students, and just be able to put into practice all the good things that they've been learning. The overall objective of the practicum is to assist students to develop self-awareness, knowledge, skills, and values necessary to provide positive and effective support to people with disabilities in a variety of settings. So in this case, you guys, this group is all working in educational settings, but this particular diploma that the students are taking could also enable them to work in the community as well with people with disability. So they have lots of options. So what is expected of students? Well, we expect students to arrive on time and be at the practicum placement for 6 hours on their scheduled practicum days, and that is up to you. It could be any time between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. depending on how things are running, and obviously mostly for you guys that'll be just during the day. And students are expected to notify me and you if they intend to be absent, and we can work out how we'll deal with that. And especially during this difficult time with the pandemic, we are encouraging people to not obviously be in any kind of a public situation if they have any symptoms. And so we are obviously thinking about how to deal with that and are very responsive and open to people staying home, clearly, if they have any symptoms at all. And also there could be a situation where there might be an incident, an outbreak, a single case, whatever, at a school. And of course, we're going to abide by the provincial guidelines and be looking at how to respond for the safety of everybody at that time as well. So there may be absences, and we recognize that, and we're flexible, and we're really open to working with you to make sure that there's good experience for everybody, and we also put safety first. And of course, if they are absent, students can make up practicum time if they're absent for several days in a row. And we can also think about other things that they could be doing to gain experience during that time, which could be special projects or Zoom meetings or something like that. So now let's look at what the students' roles and responsibilities are. Well, they're supposed to provide you with anything that is required by your site. So if it was a criminal record check or a TB test, to provide that to you if that's what's required on your end. And be familiar with all the information, like the information in the packet that I've attached to the email to send to you, the workbook, which is there, and you can have a look through that. And the course outline is something that the students have access to, which just helps them to think week by week and work in their journals on different topics that we're asking about. The students are also to wear appropriate clothing, demonstrate consistent and sound judgment, use discretion in discussing their own private life or past work experiences, and use effective interpersonal skills to establish and maintain open communication with you, with the students, with the other staff, and with me. They also have to participate in weekly seminars at the college. Well, it's not really at the college right now. It's all online. So we have e-meetings with the students. We have big group meetings with all the class and all the instructors, and then we have individual small group meetings, and then we'll be meeting with students individually as well, one-on-one, as the semester unfolds. So there's going to be lots of time for communication, for checking in. Students know as well that they have my number, they have my email address, and they can be checking in whenever they need to as well. And they need to complete a practicum timesheet, which I will show you at the end of this presentation. And what is your role as the mentor? Well, you're going to provide an appropriate orientation, which I'm sure you've already done, and introduce the student around. You're going to inform all the staff and personnel of the student's role so that we don't get confused as to what the student's there to do. So they are there as a learner, they are there to learn, but they are there to as well get hands-on practical experience. And so how do we do that? We have to engage, and so they need to engage with students. So you can integrate the Camosun student into the classroom and the agency and assign them appropriate tasks and responsibilities. And then in collaboration with me, we're going to be identifying some learning needs, and that takes a few weeks for you to get to know them, for me to get to know the students, for students to reflect in their journals and to be thinking about what their learning needs are. And every student comes with different experience. I mean, you may have a student that has had, many years of experience in a similar job and is now just pivoting over to a different role. Or you may have somebody that's just come out of high school and was a student themselves not too long ago. So of course, everyone has different needs, different learning needs, and different skills and abilities. So just be aware of what the guidelines are. And make sure that, and it's really important that we don't consider the student to replace any working person in the school. So they're not to increase staffing numbers, but they are an extra person that is there to learn. And of course, they also will be helping while they're there. And if there's any difficulties that arise, please do let me know. I am here for you as well. Even happy to listen and happy to help out in any way that I can as it relates to the Camosun student and what they're doing. And of course, we're going to ask for you to have some input into their performance and give them some feedback. So both verbal and written, and we'll get into that a bit later. And of course, we'll meet together, but we'll have to meet virtually at this time, because we're trying to reduce as much face-to-face contact as makes sense to aid in the pandemic response. But we will absolutely be available to you at any time. So if there's any questions, if there's any concerns, and of course we'll be reviewing the students' progress together as well. And this is my role. So I need to provide you guys with this orientation and the practicum handbook, which you'll have. I will be holding a town hall if you're able to come. I recognize you guys are very busy. I totally understand. And I know that this is sometimes a bit of an extra thing that is not, in your normal job description, but I really appreciate that the professionals that you are and that you do reach out and help the next generation and give mentorship to the students coming behind. So that's really a wonderful thing that you do, and I appreciate that very much. So I would love to meet with you in person, and I can imagine how lovely that would be to be able to sit down and have a cup of tea together and talk face to face about everybody's roles. But we'll have to put up with a video like this instead, and of course a town hall where you can come and ask questions. And then of course you have my email address and my phone number, so you can text or email me at any time. And but of course I'm also providing the student with support and meeting with them every week and helping them as well to apply the classroom theory. I am happy to serve as a consultant and resource person to you as far as the program is concerned, so I can help you understand the program better and ensure that the student is provided with all kinds of different instruction that they need, which we are happily giving the student week by week, and trying to encourage good learning experiences, and then of course evaluate what happens. So it is absolutely my responsibility to grade the student. So there is no need to grade, but it's very helpful for me to have that feedback from your perspective and with your experience and the fact that you're there and you can see what's happening in order to be able to do that. So I am, the students are writing in their journal, so we get lots of information from them about what is happening in their experience. We're asking pointed questions. We're meeting together. We're meeting in a big group. We're meeting in a small group. We're meeting individually. So I'm getting lots of information from the students, which is very, very good. But at the same time, your input is also very, very helpful. So I appreciate that. And I would love to say that I'm going to visit the practicum site, but you absolutely don't want me on site because you're on a low visitor process right now, and it wouldn't add much. So at the same time, though, just to really hammer home the fact that I am available to you virtually, and please do reach out if you have any questions. So the course is evaluated. This is a pass or fail course. There's not an actual grade that the student gets, but they will be evaluated, and we're looking at the 6 different learning outcomes, which I'll mention later. So the students are contributing to the evaluation by giving it all kinds of examples that they're going to write up in their workbook, and that's going to be used in this process. They're also going to be keeping a timesheet so we can see all the hours that they've contributed, and they are giving us a journal week by week, which we can use the reflections in there to also help build examples of how they're meeting the learning outcomes. And you guys, as the agency practicum mentors, are also going to be giving us valuable feedback, which I'm very thankful for, to help us also review the student. And you'll be using the evaluation forms that are provided, and I'll show you them in a bit. But of course, again, it is my responsibility, not yours, to grade the students. So that absolutely is not something you need to do, but just to give us some input and some examples and some advice, and that will help us to come up with an evaluation for that student. So here are the learning outcomes. This is what we want the student to be able to articulate how they've met them. So they're going to demonstrate basic practices that enhance the quality of life experienced by people with disabilities. So in the 6 hours, 2 days a week that they're working with you guys and in the classroom and with the students, they're going to be able to demonstrate that. They're going to use basic critical thinking skills, and we're going to be talking about critical thinking in class, so they'll be knowing more about the theory behind critical thinking and show how they're going to be problem solving. And I've heard lots of examples of that already, even in the first week that the students have been with you guys. Then they're going to provide basic positive and valuing supports to promote participation, inclusion, and satisfaction for individuals in educational settings. So that's what they'll be doing. They'll demonstrate interpersonal competence in their work with individuals, team, and other members of the community. Number 5, they're going to support the health, well-being, and safety of self and others. And boy, my goodness, during COVID, well, I'm sure we'll have hundreds of examples of how they're going to do that. And then we're going to present and conduct themselves professionally as an educational assistant practitioner. And incidentally, they don't have to do all these things perfectly. This is a learning continuum. So obviously, if people have made mistakes and they've learned from them, that this would be a great opportunity to say, hey, this is something I did, or I thought, or I said, or I didn't do, and I wish I woulda, and this is how I've learned from it. So these are the guides that we have where people can reflect and think and grow, and hopefully demonstrate some growth during the course of the semester. These are the forms that I mentioned. This is the practicum student timesheet. So they're going to keep a record of all the hours that they've worked. And if they've been absent, they can record what happened and why they were absent. And you're going to sign off on this, and they're going to sign it. So we're clear that these are the actual hours that they worked. And roughly, by the way, I mean, if school ended, because I know that there's some times that maybe school ends, an hour early for some reason, or they had to do something, then they can mention if they had an appointment or that kind of thing. But it doesn't have to be like to the minute type thing. So just try and give it a rough estimate of the hours that they're working. The student has to collect this. The student has to put these in, and just to say that what you saw was accurate is good. Okay. And then there'll be a summary that we will be working on, where we're going to put in information to summarize how the student has done, and areas that they can improve too. So not just, you guys have all done a great job. I'm sure they will do a great job, but there will be areas that they've improved. And this is the sign-off sheet that I'm asking you guys to sign. I have forwarded you the mentor booklet, the handbook, and so that's attached to this email. But also the students, I think, may have given you a hard copy, or they've given you a soft copy. But if we could just print this page out and even just sign it, take a picture of it and send it to me via email, that would be great. And we'll all sign that and make sure that we understand what the procedures are. But all in all, I really hope that this is a good experience for everyone involved. Whatever I can do to help facilitate that, I'm here for you. I'm looking forward to meeting each of you individually and potentially at the town hall to answer any questions. So I'll be sending out a time for that once the students give me back the times that you guys are available. So I can try and pick a time that kind of hits most people. But if you want to meet with me individually, we can do that too. Otherwise, I can see you at the end of February. We'll have like our midterm evaluation at that time. And we'll find a time online that suits you and the student, and the three of us can meet together at that time. If you are somebody that's mentoring more than one student, we absolutely can work it out so that time is a time that works for you to meet with, say, 2 instructors at one time, so we're not overwhelming you or back to back or that kind of thing. So I don't want anyone to do more than they ought to or feel overwhelmed by this process. So thanks very much for your time, and I will hopefully see you guys at the town hall.